My guy is Elijah Arroyo, tight end from the University of Miami, from the U. So love Elijah Arroyo, a guy who really came on a lot of people's radars after the Senior Bowl. During the year, he had a pretty decent season. It was his career best in every category. Really dominated with Cam Ward. Obviously, Cam Ward's probably the number one pick in this draft, so high caliber quarterback, top tier quarterback, elevates his game. So you love to see that he could play with a guy like Cam Ward. So a little bit about Elijah Arroyo. Worked as a slot receiver a lot of times and also an H-back for the Hurricanes. Thing was, they saw it in his route running in college this past year. He was mostly doing, seam routes, not really much kind of versatility in his route running. But he went to the Senior Bowl, one-on-ones, you kind of saw his polished, kind of crisp route running. He kind of showed off a lot. I mean, the guy's got a lot to his game, a lot of juice. And if we're talking about years after Travis Kelce, you kind of want a guy who's got a little bit of juice, a little wiggle, and he does. Effective in finding soft spots in the zone coverages, has the size to drive consistently, to fight for extra yards. Natural receiver, great hands. That's the one thing everyone, whether you're talking about running seams, running any kind of routes, I mean, this guy had great hands. Now, one of the things, obviously, we're talking about a guy who's a primarily receiving kind of tight end. Blocking, not a strong suit. Not a strong suit. A lot of scouts say that's kind of the one thing. And of course, JD, we talk about this all the time. Modern day tight ends, a lot of these guys aren't the strongest in blocking now. I don't know if it's not taught properly, but it's not the strong suit anymore for these tight ends. It's become like an afterthought in the game of tight ends. But again, being able to play with Travis Kelce, being able to be in the system, you can learn from Trav. But yeah, has the speed. Did not run at the combine. I don't think he did any workouts at the combine. He'll be working out next week. I believe it's the 24th for the Miami Hurricanes Pro Day. So we get to see him do his 40-yard dash. Big thing with him is injuries. And I know I've talked about him a lot online. He's kind of dealt with some injuries. Tore his ACL in the midway through the 2022 season, which kind of took him away from majority of the 2023 season. So when you tear the ACL, obviously it's a big thing. And he talked about it at the combine. And also, too, at the combine, we also learned from Elijah Arroyo that at the Senior Bowl, the Chiefs talked to him. He interviewed with the Chiefs. He said he really just talked about his medical history with them. That's all I really talked about with the Chiefs. So I don't know if the Chiefs are not letting their hand too much, but just only talking about his injury, his medical records. But that's pretty much what he said as far as talking to the Kansas City Chiefs. But again, natural pass catcher. He's got the juice, got the wiggle. And we're talking about life after Kelce. I know Noah Gray's been a solid tight end for us. And I think we have Noah Gray for 2 more years, I believe. I think he's had a 3-year deal last year, so 2 more years with Noah Gray.
Might be 3, actually.
Okay. Yeah, 3 years. So if we're talking about preparing for life after Kelce, you want a guy who can be that guy as far as route running, who has the wiggle, who has that juice, who can kind of, do what Kelce does in a way, right? I'm not saying he's going to be Travis Kelce, but someone who can show off that. Elijah Arroyo is that. Now we're lucky that we have a tight end as our co-host here. So JD, I know you were wanting to talk about Elijah Arroyo tonight, but this is a guy that I love him. I just watch his highlights, watching Miami games this year. He stood out. But obviously not as much as he did during the Senior Bowl, which everyone loved, his route running, and that's where he kind of boosted up on everybody's charts. Now they're talking about him being a possible round 2 guy, maybe as late as round 4, but it's going to go within the rounds 2 to 4 during this draft. What do you make of Elijah Arroyo, and how does he fit in Kansas City as far as being maybe the takeover of Travis Kelce?
I think he's a very talented tight end. I do believe, you're talking about Senior Bowl and him running. I mean, he should be open. If you run one-on-ones, you better get open. If you don't, then it ain't really worth much. I'm for real. Be honest with you. That's just, shoot. You lose, win on one-on-one. Hey, man, that's as easy as you can make it. Shoot. And so he's just doing what he's supposed to do. But watching this film, I think he does have a little wiggle to him. And I think this is kind of comparable somewhat to Travis Kelce. He's not a burner, but he's athletic enough to actually get open. And so he's got pretty good hands. He's got a good frame and his, as far as the way he looks athletic. It's just a long line of Miami tight ends. That's who they get down there. They're looking for guys like that, right? Playmakers. And so this Elijah Arroyo, man, to me is I think it's a good fit. I think he might drop to the about third or fourth round, to be honest with you.
I don't think so. No way. He's just so different than all the other tight ends. That's the only thing that's going to boost him. Like all those guys are very similar, right? The guys that everyone's hyping up, the Texas one, Terrence Ferguson. He's he's got so much juice compared to some of those guys.
I mean, you could say that, but teams may not be on it. They were like, okay, well, we need a guy.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if his medicals don't check out, he's definitely lasting to the fourth at that point.
Yeah, well, so we look at like receptions, 35 receptions, right? 7 touchdowns. Is he going to be a staple of your offense? That's the question. Can he get you like a McBride? Can he get you something like that? Can he get, what other guys are getting out there? I don't know if he can. That remains to be seen. I do believe he does fall probably to third or fourth round. It just depends on what the need is, for teams. He'll be a great pickup for us, even though we got Noah Gray, Jared Wiley. He can learn a lot from Travis Kelce. He can learn a lot from him. And if he's learning how we do our offense, he would be a dangerous guy. He'll be a dangerous guy. And we like multi-set tight ends anyway. So 2 tight end sets, 12, 13 personnel, that's right up our alley. And so if he learns, like I said, a lot, like how to get open in routes, what Kelce does, it just helps us out even more. So that's the thing. Like I said, he's definitely not a burner, but he can catch the football and he can get open. He's very athletic in space. So yeah, we can utilize him. We can definitely utilize him.
What do you make of his blocking?
I haven't really seen a whole lot of that.
Okay.
I haven't. So, I'll go and check it out. But if they're sitting there saying like that's not his forte, and you look at a guy and he gets in a little frog stance coming off the football.
Yeah, the scouting report I'm looking at right now. So the pro for him is physical blocker that always plays through the whistle. But a con for him, as I love these things because they always contradict each other. But the con for him is he needs refinement as a blocker off the line. So he needs refinement, but he also plays through the whistle as a blocker. So he's obviously a willing blocker, but needs refinement there.
So that could just be technique. It could be steps coming off the football. Like if he's willing, that means he plays to the whistle. So he'll get engaged with guys. He may not just win it initially. But he might just be able to, clean guys up over the pile, or he'll stay on them. So the willing to want to, that you can work with that. Technique is something that you can get him better at. Dropping off the football, working on his feet, the speed of his, the quickness of his hips coming in on the block. All those things are something that he can improve on. Are we asking him to do things like that? That's the question. But yeah, I like it. As long as he has the willing to want to the block, that I could work with that. Definitely. We can make it better.
I got a couple of nuggets on him if you want to hear it. So moved to Cancun when he was 6. He basically learned how to play football in Cancun. He lived there till he was like 11 or 12. 1 drop and 47 targets. And most of those came on like vertical routes too. So that's impressive. They're not just like little curls that he caught. Like he's dropping 1 on verticals. You know what I mean? 11 yards average depth of target and 94 percentile in yards after catch. So from the scout that said it too, those are so rare to have both those things because usually you have one or the other, but the fact that he has both just
what was it? Say it again.
94 percentile in yards after catch. So his yards after catch is really high.
Yeah.
But he also has 11 yards average depth of target. So he's catching deep and he's breaking them once he has them.
Mm-hmm.
You guys hit it on the head. And from what I read, doesn't have the technique, but he definitely plays with an edge. Like he has a nasty demeanor and he gives a lot of effort. So that's why it's kind of a plus and a minus. It's not there, but he tries really hard. So it's like, okay, well then, because one of the things is do you avoid physicality? Do you just kind of like lay and just, kind of just push your way into the whistle blows? Like he tries, he just doesn't, it's just not there, right?
Yeah.
But just overall, just his athletic profile and versatility, I just think someone in that second round, early third, latest is going to be like, man, I'm going to draw up these plays with him. Like I got packages for him, man. That's what I just think someone's going to pull the trigger on that on the earlier side of it, just because they're just going to salivate at the potential of what they can draw up for him.
I thought the Broncos were a big team because, if you watch his interview at the Combine, all the questions were about, I guess the Denver reporters really thought they were going to get him. And they can still very well get him, but they spent a pretty penny on Evan Ingram. So I think that might take them out of the running for him. But
possibly 2 years though, right? So it's not like it's a long-term contract by any means.
Yeah, but we're talking about life after Kelsey starting this year, right? Where they at least
for sure. Yeah.
So we shall see. So but JD, when I heard you wanted to talk with Elijah Arroyo, I was very happy about that because I was okay. That's good. I'm on the right page when I look at my tight ends.
Yeah. Like I said, I think he's probably a third rounder. I think I really do. In my mocks, that's where he was right there about third. Maybe slipped to fourth. I think one of them I picked him up, but he's now he reminds me of like a Irv Smith. He looks what Irv Smith would be if we had him here. He just kind of looks like him. He's got that little swag kind of to him. That's what I like about him. I do like his juice. I like how he plays. I like how he plays ball. I do. He's competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his route running, the way he runs, and the way his after catch, that's more juice like Kelsey rather than more so no Gray or Wiley bring, right? They're solid tight ends, but as far as we're trying to mimic Kelsey, he probably fits more along those lines.
Yeah, very, very athletic. He can be very crafty. That's what I was saying. Like this offense, he could fit well in the things that we do, for sure.
If he brings it that pro day and runs a fast 40, forget about it. Someone's gonna fall in love with that 4.5.
Oh, Veach did interview him, so Veach.
I hope so. I've been done run 4.5. I'm like, get him here.
Yeah, you forget about it at that point. I think it was the first round to get him.
It looks like his last 40 times. So was this Draft Buzz compiles all the combine stuff and all that stuff. But it looks like his last 40 time was 4.69 40. Yeah. Which you kind of see, he's not a burner by any means, but he's got hips, man. He's got the juice. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.